No. Blood Bow Song.
I'm back, baby! Welcome to Season 17 of REBBL. I'm award-winning recapper Richard Castlevania, and I'm once again taking care of all you little nooblets down here in the never-ending dungeon of sadness and regret that is Division 5 BigO. As always, we start with the lowest of the low. This Season 5C has been invaded by European grandmothers, with over 50% of the teams consisting of either non-run teams or non-rostered players. This season is looking to be only slightly more frail than last, but definitely more likely to make you eat something because look at you, you're all skin and bones. Oh, hey, they were all introduced to REBBL by Raker, so you know this season is going to be an elderly dumpster fire of broken dreams. First up, we have Sir Shadkin and the Dodgy Nunners. These dark elf ladies may look like they're well into their twilight years, but don't let that fool you. They like it rough, and back then, they didn't have safe words. With 4 blitzers, 2 rerolls, and a run of these bondage biddies will have the sole carrier of the dark elf banner this season. But don't worry, that bar was set pretty low, so they'll really have to screw up to be any worse. First place. Secondly is Project Swift and Nonarona's Orphanarium. This octogenarian owned and operated orphanage is obligatory obedient to their overaged overlord and opens with an ogre, 4 blitzers, and a thrower. The absence of catchers may suggest a more bash-focused playstyle, which might be hard with their guardian constantly threatening them with the wooden spoon when they get too rowdy, which they won't, because they're humans and boring. Fourth, thirdly is Tiny Timmy and Nonna's Dodgy Dames. Instead of pulling their roster from poor little displaced children, this team seems to be exclusively made up of violent women. Unfortunately, they are the second team in the division with Dodgy and Nonna in the team name, making recapping way more confusing, and since Timmy was the second in line, he gets the full brunt of my ire. He starts with 4 blitzers and 4 rerolls and no branch. Good luck, I'm sure your team won't implode even a little. Second, the only returning coach in Div 5C, I'm assuming solely because of yours truly, ditching their Camry and Dark Elf ways from Season 14 and 12, Brass Moon joins us with the Halabheim Canonas, an undoubtedly inciting addition to the— wait, they're humans. Never mind. 4 blitzers, 2 catchers, thrower and ogre, moving on, who cares? Aussie Viking, I'm holding you personally responsible for this travesty. Third, next is Watermelon and $60 billion. The first non-Nonna team in this division, and that's not the only disappointing thing about this team. Firstly, they're chaos. Secondly, running with 3 warriors and a Minotaur, it's highly possible they may be one of those filthy fun havers I've been hearing about. Don't worry, we'll stamp that out of them while the Mino sits in the backfield permanently wild animaled. 7. Now here's a team. Much like last season, 5C sees another rookie underworld coach join its ranks. Sav and Control cutthroats may not be Nonnas, but they're here to fill the big but somehow also disappointing shoes that Lorikins left behind. Will they carry on the undefeated world legacy in the regular season? Or will they die to a stray razorblade doily lobbed by an aggressive aged Agnes? 5th, our last team and final Nonna is Huith and the Nonners, Knitters, and Nonnamies. These Nonners are so old they have literally started to rot. Only 1 Blitz Nonner on this team, but the Nonna Guardians are ever watchful over their domain and are hard to bypass. And unlike my Nonna, it is pretty hard to punch them in the face without inviting a bunch of your friends over to help. 6. Div 5B this season is a mix of new teams and Greenhorn teams. But don't worry, new teams. Those Greenhorn coaches may have somewhat developed over you, but they are obviously here because they're garbage. Just don't be farmed and you'll be fine. Rookie coach, fresh from the butchers, is Pig Brigade, a high elf team with 2 blitzers, 2 catchers, 2 rerolls, and a thrower. High elves are a weird team. They're not cheating like wood elves or dark elves, and they aren't as doomed as pro elves. They're like the elf equivalent of a slow fart that only gets good right at the end. 6. Second 5B rookie Pancakes and Crimson Cutthroats joins us from a 2-1-1 record in Greenhorn, sporting a human team with a smattering of development. 2 guard blitzers, a dodge blitzer, and a block catcher, a fantastic start to the season, but having 2 throwers and 1 with safe throw is an odd choice. Remember kids, if you don't rigidly adhere to the meta and have no fun, you may as well be coaching halflings. For third 5B rookie is Bloodknit and the Spine Busters. a Lizard team that, unlike last season, isn't immediately doomed by the division composition. They've gone with the standard Lizard starting roster, and I would love to talk about the team more, but I just read they do the tongue thing, and now I have to go talk to a coach about the sucking crock cigar. With Division 5 wouldn't be the same without somebody trying to ruin everybody else's fun. Sam threw his season 16 murder chorfs in the garbage and decided Nurgle was a good idea. He was immediately proven wrong and came out of Greenhorn beaten and bruised with a 0-1-3 record, a block warrior, and an agility rotor. I'd usually say something more about this team is awful and deserves to die, but at this point Sam has suffered enough. Third, following the proud tradition of big old Lizard coaches abandoning their teams, Schleiss has put together a second coming of his old Skaven team, this time with a more family-friendly name. What a coward! Rat Lovers United come out of Greenhorn with a 1-1-2 record, losing their thrower, who was bloat anyway, let's be real, and gaining 2 heads, block and wrestle on some gutter runners and mighty blow on a storm vermin. As with Linen, re-rolling out of Lizards effectively has cursed him, and we expect a season of pain and torment as the ones flow like dwarven ale. He'll still come first because rats. Air Jordan didn't get the memo when every other Necro coach re-rolled last season, but better late than never, right? He starts fresh this season with Bullhawks, a pro elf team with 2 blitzers and 3 catchers. Pro elves are prone to a rare disease called sudden and irreversible death. However, it is preventable by isolating the whole team in a sterile bubble away from anything that can harm them. So consider that strategy going forward, Mr. Jordan, sir. Second, rookie coach Reeferman and his Amazons Dom Danzels are the last up in 5B. They took 3 reroll, 1 bench, thrower, catcher approach, and are all set to annoy the living bejesus out of anyone who doesn't roll a pow. I should have talked to this dude before starting these recaps. You could be watching Richard Dank Sylvania Raunchy Bondage 420 caps right now. I'll guess I'll have to settle for never being as cool as him. 7. At last, we're done with the scrubs and get to talk about the real coaches we've all come here to see. Never mind, I take that back. Aussie Viking holds the prestigious position of the only bad BigO stunty coach in season 16 and has decided to take out his frustration on the rest of us by rolling into Chorfs. With a 2-2-0 Greenhorn record, Return of the Chorfs started the season with 3 Mighty Blow blockers, 2 block builds, and picked up another Mighty Blow and Dirty player since, and has already set to beat his last season record of only 1 win. 6th, usually when a coach re-rolls, they move on to a different playstyle, but not Furs, who started with a worse version of their previous team. Bet they think they fooled us too. What a jerk. Ditching High Elves for Pro Elves, still rocking went 3-0-1 in Greenhorn, and have a huge bunch of development with Dodge Catcher and Blitzer, Wrestle Line Elf, Guard Line Elf, and a disgusting Agility Guard Blitzer. So far, the only team keeping to the tradition of D5 rolling ridiculously level ups. 4th, after a mixed bag of seasons with vampires, Morker has decided to return to his roots and start cheating again by coaching Wood Elves. Return to White went 2-1-1 in Greenhorn, but has essentially lost 2 catchers already. I'd say he's following the Linen school of Wood Elf play, but he hasn't rolled any strength and has won games that weren't buys. If you disregard the Armor Buster catcher, Moko has only picked up 2 sidestep and a dodge. But Wood Elves are gross, and it wouldn't surprise me if Mocha cheats his way into the top 3. Well, look at fancy Super Bowl winner down here in the dirt with the common folk, flaunting your flawless Greenhorn run and rolling 2 movement increases already, along with sidestep on the catcher, guard on the ogre, block on another catcher, and some dirty player. Darby and the 200 have hit season 17 strong, with their only setback being a lost strength blitzer, which essentially means his season is over before it started. May as well quit while you're ahead, Darby. Better luck next time, buddy. See ya next season. First, new coach Gojira joins the fray with the Battletoads. A 2-1-1 Greenhorn was kind for the Kislev, gifting the Toads a strength dodge catcher, an agility catcher, block blitzer, and wrestle lineman. Now, it would be an understatement when I say the last D5 Kislev team died in a fire, got crushed into a fine powder, used to season a troll's breakfast, and then expelled into a locker room bathroom. I'm sure these guys will be fine though. 8th, Ed Havoc has finally learnt his lesson and rolled back into the superior team this season. A Poger, Snotwell Limited, joins us with a 2-0-2 record. 5 ogres, one of them guard confirm another break tackle, 2 diving tackle snotnings, and a wasted double on a 3rd snotling for sure hands. I wasn't aware snotlings were allowed to touch the ball? What sort of topsy-turvy ogre bizarro team is this? 7. Finally sick of the dicing marathon and bleeding elves every week, Sir Pickles has become a superior gentleman of discerning taste. A 301 greenhorn record has got him 3 dodge blitzers and a massive bunch of scrubs, a hiccup away from leveling. The Blockhampton Bretonians are on the verge of a TV explosion bigger than a repressed Victorian chap in a house of leisure. 2nd. Lastly, and certainly leastly, we have Hiruma, joining us from a 2-season chaos mistake, re-rolling back into the comfy bosom of his most favorite rainbow high elves. Soaring rainbow ponies went 301 in Greenhorn, and now have a God Blitzer, Dodge Blitzer, Block Catcher, Mighty Blow Catcher, Block, Kick and Dirty Player lineouts, and an Agility Thrower. In related news, this season, I'm implementing a reward scheme. Send me a screenshot of you asking Hiruma if you can foul one of his pieces, then another screenshot of the subsequent foul, and I will personally compliment you in the next recap. Limited to 1 compliment per recap, conditions apply, no substitutions, exchanges or refunds. 5th. And that, my little scabs that just won't heal, is the precap for BigO Division 5 Season 17. I'm Richard Castlevania. Remember, an honor in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. Good night.
Do 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 dum do 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 bum ba bum 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 do 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 bum do bum ba bum bum ba da da dum 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 jim jim jum jim jim jum jum dum dum jim 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 dum nham 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 wah 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 wee wee wah wah wee wah 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 bling blong blong blang bling bong 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 nhang wah 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 nam nam nam